So let's talk about Elite on gamma boosted, or as they say in these days, StarCraft boosted. So let's talk about Elite on blade, the motor, the cover, and the switch. So we'll start with the switch. We'll get into all the parts, so let's go for it. So if you buy a new gamma, I don't know, alpha, rebel, or this boosted, you'll see a cover here that prevents hair to get into the key and cause switch malfunction. But the main problem with the gamma's switches is not that the hair goes in it. The main problem is the corrosion. So I cleaned the corrosion. Actually, the part that goes under this metal part gets corroded, and during the time about I don't know, 1.5 year, 1 year, you'll get something like this. So let me close it up and show you what's going on with it. The problem is it got corroded. Now the switch needs to get changed, but in not all of the market you can find gamma switch easily. For example, in Iran or in the Middle East market, you rarely can find the original part for these. So let me close this, let me tighten it. Here we go. So now this is the problem. You see, this is the problem that we have with the key. Actually, we don't have the see, it's on, but so we don't have problem with hair. We actually have problem with corrosion. So gamma should fix this. You see, it got turned off. Just there we go. So that's the first problem with gamma. After 1.5, you can see. So this is the problem. This is the main problem. I actually changed that metal board. The previous one was this one. It actually got pretty damaged. So here you go. This is the first problem. The second problem is about the there are some pros and cons about the small blade. So let's look at the small blade of gamma. The first problem with this one is it's very noisy. It's just too noisy. Okay, when it gets lighter, it gets noisier, and gamma in comparison to other clippers it's just very noisy, and you don't know why. So the main reason is this: if you put a heavier blade on it, heavier small blade, it gets too quiet. It's just so quiet, and yeah. And the good thing is it's too light, and the motor can handle it much easier. So it puts a little pressure on the motor, so your motor will run much longer. But what happens is, if your motor be able to handle your small blade too easy, it will cause a bad cut. Your motor should kinda struggle to move your small blade, and it's too easy for a 7200 RPM motor to move this too. Actually, it's very light. I don't know, about 4 gram, 5 gram, around that. It's just very small. So it shouldn't be this light. When it's too light, it actually causes a bad cut. But for the motor, it's good because motor can handle it very well. So I talked about the loudness of this. So this is a problem that this type of blade has. And the good alternative, where I had my, I think, yeah. So there are a lot of options. So one good thing that I checked was, let's see, this is the exact same model. You got in different colors for Chinese clippers. So they are all same. There you go. It's a little bit heavier, but The teeth is a little bit thicker, but they all have the same problem. So a good thing is this one is actually better, a little bit heavier, low friction cause it actually, the motor can handle this better. But when it gets heavier, it cuts better, but the motor should be able to handle it. So it shouldn't be too light, it shouldn't be too heavy. You should find something between them for your clipper. I actually run a test on all of these blades. I'll giving different blades to the barbers, and I'll getting some reviews, and I'll make a video about that, about which blade is best for you, for your needs, and we'll talk about that later. But the problem with Gamma's blade is it's just too light. The motor can handle it better, but it causes a bad cut when it's too light, and it's loud. So we got this pink pin drive on it. So when you buy one, the first one is black. So the black one has a better material in compared to this one, and the problem that cause is actually damage your key blade oil, and exactly make it corroded. Okay, this is the problem that we have with the valve's pin drive and the key blade oil part. They have same material, and they just start to corroding each other, and that's bad. On Gamma it's not like that. The key blade oil part has a better material that cause that the pin drive, this is the pin drive that always get corroded. Okay, you see a very few Gammas that had a corroded pin, actually the key blade oil part. So yeah, this is the good thing about Gamma, and it has a very low quality material, but it fits perfectly. It actually fits perfectly, and this is the only part that gets corroded. It actually has the material of some cheap Chinese toys, and when you put the blade on it, it actually fits perfectly. And it has a low material, but low quality material, but it runs very well. Actually, I don't know, maybe 1 year, 1.5 years, it actually runs very well, and it's just enough. Okay, and after 1 year, what you see is it actually running for two years, maybe two to a half years, and you see keep the blade oil part is very healthy. It just looks like nothing happened to it. Okay, so it has a low quality material, but it's good, it's working. I mean, it's only the pin drive that is get corroded, and it's just good to go. So that's about the pin drive. The main problem that I have with the Gamma is about the motor. So I don't know why even they designed it like this. So it's a rotary motor, so it gets hot, and when it gets hot, you should make some holes for airflow, and as you can see, they completely closed it. There's some version of Gamma clippers on this type, for example, and they have holes, and the Volz motors are trash, but the airflow, they did a great job. The air goes in from here and gets out from here, and actually brings out all the carbon dust in the motor, and that's a very, very cool feature. And this is not a genius thing, it's just a very simple thing that you can do easily. You just put some holes in it, and what they say is they did this because they didn't want to oil get into your motor. And what even you do with your clippers, you don't wash them with oil. Only 3 drops of oil is enough. So the thing that they closed it because they feared that the oil will get into the motors is just nonsense. How much you put oil on your clipper, just I don't know, you don't wash them with the oil, but yeah, they should have some holes on it. When it's rotary, you should have some holes in it. Okay, when it's brushless, it actually makes sense, because brushless has a very different structure in comparison to these rotary ones. It makes sense for the brushless motors that don't have any holes in it. Huh? So we got that here actually. So as you can see here, just no holes in it, no airflow. It gets hot much faster because of no airflow, and it's just bad for the motor. I don't say these are the low quality motors. The motors that Gamma use are very high quality, but they should have a system for airflow. That's what I'm saying. They are very well designed, very well actually manufactured. It's high quality, but there's just, you should have something for airflow. And saying that we did this for just prevent oils to get into the motors, that is just nonsense. And the good thing that Vol does on the cover is they just have this part, which reduces the vibration of the motor. You should have something like this to get all the to just decrease the vibration. So what you have on Gamma is there's just nothing, just a static part that's just distribute the vibration very easy, and that's a bad design. On some Gammas you actually see the exact same design that you see here, and that's good and that's perfect. And they closed it all, and they saying we want to reduce the noise of motor. Actually the motor has no noise, and it's not noisy. You see, there's no noise about what you want to decrease. There's no noise on it. I don't think even you can hear it. So it's a nonsense to say we closed it. There's no holes in it. You see, they closed it all, and they say we did it because we wanted to make our caliper more silent, and that's just nonsense. These motors, these rotary motors, it doesn't matter if the rotary brushes, the motors gets hot, and when it's hot, what Vol did was on these parts it gets all the heat from here and just navigate them through these holes, and the heat just gets out. And this is a very, very good design. The Vol was an idiot to manufacture something like this. And why you think there are some holes in it? The Gamma says I removed it because it makes your clipper too loud. And why you think the Vol did it for beautiness? And you think why Vol did this? They just did it to navigate all the heat from all this top surface to go through this hole, and it gets out. So two things that Vol did, and that was very good. The problem nowadays we have with the Vol's motor is there's low quality. They has a very low quality. They just get damaged in 1 year. At least about the clips that you get as original here, the motor get just damaged after 1 year, and that's a very low quality motor for on Vol. And this is sorry, my GoPro got overheated. So we don't have any problem with the motor's design on Vol and the cover. They are just perfect designs, but the motor is just low quality. This is the only problem that we have. 5 years ago, 6 years ago, the motor's quality was just insanely good. I have some customers that have the Vol from 7 years ago, and this motor just runs like a beast. And in today's motors, it's just trashed. I don't know why Vol is just doing this. So yeah, they should just bring back the holes on them. There's no reason to keep them out. So about the closing the holes because they wanted the clipper to get more silent, it's just nonsense. You always should control the heat. You should do it. You should control the heat because they get hot too fast. And when it has no holes in it, where the carbon doesn't even go. Even if you buy a valve today, after 1 year, you see the carbon dust all over the motor's cover, just all over it. After 1 year, if you open your clipper, this white surface is just completely gray to black. Okay, this is the only problem that we have with the wall. So the switch, let's restart it. The switch, we don't have problem with hair, we just have problem with the corrosion of the switch. The pin drive is good. It's low quality material, but it's working and working very well. It just worked for 1 to 1.5 years. It's just very good. It fits perfectly. So it's good to have a pin drive with low quality material because it doesn't damage your, keep the blade apart. And yeah, the shaft is super torque. The only thing that is good about, the only advantage that this motor have in compared to other high quality motors is super torque. Is very, very good shaft. And yeah, so and I should talk about the spring. So the spring quality is very well. It's just running for 2.5 years. There's no corrosion on it. It just feels like you bought it yesterday. There you go. So it has some issues, it has some advantages, but overall it shouldn't cost, I think it costs about $200. It's just too much for this. It shouldn't be this expensive, but it's a bad clipper. I mean, you can buy some other thing with, so this is a Priscelto. The Priscelto is actually have the exact same material, the exact same thing that this clipper has, and it's just $70. I'm not advertising. They have a lot of bad products, but this one was good. This was very good. So when I'm selling this, I'm actually telling the customer I'm changing this one. I changed the small blade because the small blade just sucks. This is small blade. We have a lot of problem. I don't like it. I just hate it. I thought it has a good cutting performance until I gave it to a barber, and it says it's just terrible. I actually give this blade with both rotary and brushless motors, and it just say it's just terrible. And I checked with a ceramic blade or a heavier blade, and he told me it just insane now. Okay, so a small blade is here just to prevent the motor just to get damaged soon. It just prevents it. So it actually runs just too much with this blade. I don't know what it does with heavier blades. The problem now we have with the valves today is the motor is just so weak it can't handle this. It just can't. And it happens often, but the valves motor, the motor itself get noisy. The motor itself get noisy. So most of the time the clippers pin drive cause it to get noisy. The key blade will get corroded and cause it to get noisy. But on valves, on some valves, and you see just the motor itself is noisy. So they put a very low quality material into them. But this feels good. It feels better. I don't know. I didn't test it with a heavier blade, but I think if Vol use just some more lightweight blades, it actually will run longer too. So I don't know about that. I'm testing these. I'll post a video about that. So yeah. So I told you about the switch. The problem is not here. It's about corrosion. We should have hole for airflow on these. The quality is not that bad. This is just terrible. We should have this part on them. It doesn't matter how well designed the motor is. You should have this one on them. Nothing else. You should have this. And yeah, well, did great job on the airflow and these covers, but they just sucks nowadays. I love Vol, but As a brand, I love it, but it just sucks nowadays. So at least what you get as original in Middle East. So I talked about pin drive. The pin drive is good, it's low quality, and it's working, it's good. So yeah, this is a technical review, and I hope you liked it. Tell me what you think about Gamma. Well, I read in the YouTube's comments in different channels, they were like, it's just too expensive. The people say it's just too expensive, and I think it doesn't worth it's actually I think it's about $200 or a little bit more, but it doesn't really worth that much. It's not 200. You can just buy a pre-Celta. The vapor blade quality, where is this vapor blade? I think it's this one. Yeah, the Cubase vapor blade has a very premium quality. So even the I think the manufacturer of these two blades are same, because it's a very premium blades on them. Yeah, so that was about this video. See you in next video, and tell me what you think about Gamma and Gamma Cumulus at all. So bye for now.